Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. We are back with another nail tutorial. This one is going to be from start to finish for the most part. This is a freestyle that I'm doing. I love to do freestyles. That's what you'll mostly see on my channel. So I came up with the design, shape, everything myself, period. Thank you. But where I'm just starting off, as you see, I push back the cuticles and I'm taking a little rounded drill bit, and I just use that to go around the cuticles to get like the extra nitty gritty out. This is just a 180 sanding band that I used. You do not need to be rough or hard when doing this. You just simply go from left to right, right to left, whatever is comfortable for you to get that natural shine off. Nothing more, nothing less. And so here, pretty simple. I'm applying the tips. I just use basic nail glue. The best tip I can give for applying nail tips, ladies, is do not follow the natural finger, okay? Like, it's so easy to try to put the tip, like trying to line it up with the way that the finger goes, and then you'll soon realize that the tip is not as straight as you thought it was going to be. So what I do is I start, like, starting with the pinky. I just put the nail tip straight, and then when I apply the rest of the tips, I make sure I hold the fingers together as you seen right there to make sure all the rest of the nail tips are going in the same direction, because you would rather the tips go in the same direction than try to make them follow the direction of the finger, I'm sorry, and then they all look out of whack and you're going to be like, what happened? So here I am just filing the nail. I always say to start with the sides, file them at a 90-degree angle to get that perfect crisp shape. And then with the free edge, which is the part that I'm filing right now, as you can see, just put the tip of the nail, or the free edge as I call it, up against the back of the file and just file straight up and down 90-degree angle, and you will get that perfect crispy shape. And this technique has never failed me, ladies. It always comes through. So and again, like I always say in every video, just because I do something one way does not mean that it will work for others. I just do these videos in hopes to help people. Maybe it'll, give insight on another way to do it, an easier way to do it. Maybe it will work for you, maybe it won't. But I just tell everybody to take these videos with a grain of salt. Do not watch these and then go home or, to your salon, whatever the case may be, and try to do these and get frustrated or discouraged if the techniques do not work for you. You have to take them, and if for some reason the exact technique doesn't work, try to tweak it on your own, and who knows, it might come out better than mine. Never know. But just don't get discouraged if what one person is doing with nails does not work for you, ladies. I promise you'll find your way and you'll be bomb. And another thing that I always recommend when filing is after you do the sides and the free edge to kind of run the file underneath, like you just seen I did there, just very quickly. It just gets like the little snags out if there are any. It definitely plays a part in the crisp shape. And these are square. I don't know about y'all. I literally, like, square has to be perfect, as you can see. I think that was pretty slayed, if I do say so myself. Yeah. So anyways, I'm just taking that same sanding band and blending the nail tip in with the natural nail. Again, ladies, do not apply too much pressure. Do not leave it in one area for too long. Simply just go left to right or right to left, depending on, which hand you use when you use the file. But you don't want to cause any friction or any burning, which will happen if you apply too much pressure or if you're in one spot for too long. So just keep it moving and simply blend the nail tip in. This helps prevent lifting, breakage. It's a major part of the prep process, if you would like to call it. So, and I also do the nail tips because when I apply the acrylic, I've found that it helps the acrylic adhere. So this right now is the dehydrator. This is just another layer of removing those natural oils, which again helps prevent lifting, breakage, helps hold retention, all that. This is primer. Just apply it the same way as you do the dehydrator. Primer is another thing that will help the acrylic adhere. These are two major parts. You cannot forget those, ladies. I say this all the time. I cannot remember a time where I've done a set without those and it actually lasted. So, like I mentioned, this is a freestyle set. So this finger is just going to be a plain blue finger with some glitter over top. If you're not familiar with encapsulation, this finger will be a perfect example for that. So what I'm doing is just applying the acrylic. I'm gonna, cover this finger in blue. I cannot remember the color, like the name of the color. So if I can remember to, I will put everything I used actually down in the description box below. And if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to comment and I will reply back to those with the best answer that I have. So, but yeah, ladies, I tried to do most of the acrylic process in real time. So you can see, or get a better look at how I applied the acrylic. I always recommend that this is like a major step. Take your time on this step because it will save you so much time in the end. So as you can see, I'm really focusing on keeping the acrylic nice and neat on the sides, around the cuticle, on the free edge. Like I literally am trying to keep it perfect, or as close to perfect as I think this fit anyways, because in the end I barely have to e-file any of that, like maybe 10 minutes at the most on that step and I'm done, which helps tremendously, especially if you're a beginner nail tech, because I know, at least when I was a beginner nail tech, I used to spend most of my time filing and then like e-filing, trying to get the nail a little bit thinner, not as thick, and it used to take up so much time. So when I started to do this, I'm telling you guys, it saved me so much time. The neater, the quicker, I guess I should say. So yeah, here I am just applying this beautiful glitter acrylic over top of the nail, and I don't believe I encapsulate it right away. I think I actually let it dry. Yeah, I did. I let it dry for just a minute because when you do encapsulation, you'll kind of notice that depending on what it is you're encapsulating, if you try to put the clear acrylic over top right away, it might smudge it or move it around or mess up the design, whatever the case may be. So I just always say, since this was an acrylic that I'm encapsulating, I just kind of let it dry. That way when I went back over it with the clear, it didn't affect it in any way. So on this pointer finger here, I am doing a French tip, acrylic French tip with the light blue, and I'm going to be adding some flower jewels, which you won't see until the end. For this step, this actually took me quite a few times to learn, so please do not beat yourself up if it seems hard or doesn't seem to work the first few times. Practice, practice, practice. Like that's literally all I can say about this design right here, because it's not, at least to me, it's not easy. I eventually got the hang of it, but it just is very tedious, I should say. So what I did was I took a larger bead and placed it where the nail tip meets the natural nail, and I worked I don't want to say really slow, but I definitely took my time with this part and tried to curve the edges, just kind of using my brush to carefully shape it and create that nice rounded tip that I want, I guess. It doesn't have to be exactly how mine is. Whatever you think looks good, that's when you can stop doing the shaping or whatever. And if you feel like it's too dry or it's just not working, definitely you can use some monomer to loosen it up a little bit. And so once you have applied that first bead and got that nice rounded bottom, I'm sorry, I don't really know what to call it, you can go back in with a few beads or whatever you feel necessary. Some people only need one, some people need two. I believe I used one and then a smaller one. So yeah, you just go back in and apply those over top to create a thicker tip. I really don't know what to call this piece. I'm blanking. This part, just that nude part of the French tip. So yeah, as you can see, it's just a nice rounded little portion, which you'll see why it's important to have it not flat, I guess you can call it. Like you want it to be a little thicker. So when it gets to the part of filing and crisping it up, you know, it'll be way easier, which you will see, and I will bring this back up later down the road. This finger is just going to be a simple ombre. So of course you always start with, well, in this case anyways, when you're just doing, you know, nude in color, you just simply start with the color, work your way up to about where the nail tip meets the natural nail, and then I always get like a little wetter of a bead, and I don't apply it straight. As you can see, I'm kind of like pushing it up a little bit to kind of make it a little uneven, as far as where the acrylic stops at. So I do that because I've noticed that when I go to blend, it just blends so much better. Like the times when I used to just do the acrylic and like stop it evenly, I guess you can call it, when I would go to blend the next color, you would see like clearly where the two different colors were applied. So I'm going back over to this pinky nail. Like I said, you kind of want to wait for whatever it is you're encapsulating to dry. This only took a few seconds. I just went ahead and got started on the other nails just because. So the reason that you encapsulate stuff like this is because when you would go back over with your e-file, it would definitely just take, in this case, the glitter right off, which will completely ruin your design. So it's really a very basic, simple step. Since I already put not only the colored acrylic down, but the glitter acrylic also, you do not need a bunch of clear acrylic to encapsulate. Just a thick enough layer to cover the sparkle or glitter acrylic, if that's what you want to call it. And you'll definitely, it's very obvious if there's a piece not covered or a piece still showing. You'll definitely be able to see whatever it is, like as you move the finger around, kind of glisten in the light or be poking out of the acrylic. You know, it's not really hard to tell if you need to go back over with a few pieces of acrylic. And in that case, if there is something that still needs to be covered, don't apply a whole nother layer. Just, you know, pick up a small little bead, put it over where you need to be covered, and, you know, apply it as you would any other acrylic. So I'm going back to the ombre finger now with the nude, and I just simply pick up the bead and I place it right above, literally right above where the bottom color ended off at. And you do not want to pull the acrylic. You literally just want to like pat it down, work it in with the other color to get that really good blend. The bead does not, actually cannot be very wet. I know some people recommend that you do ombre with wetter beads. I will say that for me, it has never worked. It doesn't mix. In the end, it just causes me to not get a good ombre, or for the colors to be, you know, very separated. It just doesn't really look good. So I just say get a bead that's not too wet, not too dry, so you can literally blend it smoothly. I think of it kind of as like butter, like you want it to just, you know, mesh so well. If it's too wet, it will just like be very runny. It won't ombre right. And if it's too dry, it won't ombre at all. So and this step is optional. I always with ombre get a little bit of acrylic and I just place it where the color meets, drag it down like normal. But I do this because there have been some times where certain colors, when I would ombre, or like certain brands of nudes would, when I like go to e-file at the end, it would kind of like start to remove some of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like it would kind of like take some of the color off, so the ombre wouldn't look as flushed and mixed as it did, you know, before. So I just do this just to, you know, kind of protect it, I guess. I wouldn't really call this encapsulating. I guess technically it is, but just literally a very thin layer just to protect that blend. And I'm not saying that the e-file will mess it up. I'm just saying that it's a habit for me to put this, you know, this clear over top of ombres now, because it has happened to me a few times, more than I would have liked to happen. So rather be safe than sorry. So here I'm going back to the ring finger. This is just going to be a plain blue nail as far as acrylic goes. The rest of the design will not be done until towards the end of the video. So this is just, you know, Same routine. Pick up your bead, work your way up to the top. It doesn't really matter how many beads you use. I will say that you don't need to use a whole bunch, because that'll just, in the end, you're just going to be wasting so much acrylic. Like if you keep, going to clean your brush on the paper towel, whatever dish you're using, you keep seeing a lot of acrylic go down, your beads are not right, which I'm actually going to be doing a video on that, so stay tuned for like proper bead pickup, I guess you can call it. And you don't want your nail to be too thick, you don't want it to be too thin. I know some nail techs say 3 bead method. That's very popular. I can't really stand by that. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I just never really know how many beads I'm going to use. I just apply and I work my way up, and it always gives me the perfect apex, the perfect thickness. They look great. And it's up to your discretion. So what I say is, after you apply the acrylic, you can always look at the nail from different angles to see if it looks too thin in one area, if the apex isn't built up enough. And if not, you just go in and you add acrylic where you feel is necessary. But usually 9 times out of 10, if you just get those small or medium sized beads and work your way up from bottom to cuticle, you will be good. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm on the cuticle bead now. One thing I can say about placing beads by the cuticle is, do not put them literally at the cuticle. It may look like that in my video that I did that, but I promise I just put it right under, because when you go to pat the acrylic down, it will push some of it up just a little. And that's with every bead. So with the acrylic, with the cuticle bead, you don't have to put it right around the cuticle, because then when you go to apply it, if you do, it'll just flood up into the cuticle, which will cause lifting for sure. And that's why, if you guys noticed on each finger, every set I do, when I do place the cuticle bead, I always go back around and just clean up the cuticle just in case, because like I said, rather be safe than sorry. Having acrylic anywhere but the nail, honestly, especially around the cuticle area, will cause lifting, and it just won't look as flush. Like when the nails grow out, they won't look as good as they can. It'll definitely look like, girl, you need to get your nails redone ASAP. But yeah, so as I mentioned way back when I was talking about this part right here, why you want it to be a little thick, as you can see, I'm going around filing it to make that like the French, I really don't know what to call this part, you guys, I'm sorry, so just bear with me, but you know what I'm talking about, that nude part, to make it crisp. That way when I apply the colored acrylic to do the French tip, it will look very clean. If it was thin and flat, I wouldn't be able to file and make it, crisp and clean. So that's why I say make sure to build it up enough for you to be able to do that. Some people don't, they apply it and it's awesome. They don't even have to go back and file it. I just do it just because it makes me feel better, and nothing can ever look too crisp. You know what I'm saying? Might as well. So on the thumb here, I'm doing another ombre finger, same method, nothing different. Getting the beads, working my way up to about the middle of the nail, or where the tip meets the natural nail. And just patting down my acrylic, never drag, never pull, just slightly feather, pat. You will definitely get that method down, you guys. Maybe it's just me, but when I first started off, I literally could not grasp the concept of patting or feathering my acrylic. Like, I used to always drag and pull, and I would have so much acrylic on my napkins, and it would just be so annoying. And literally one day I just got into the hang of it, and I didn't even realize, like, oh shoot, I finally got the feathering method down. So it just takes practice. You guys will definitely get it. So yeah, same method, nothing new. And I actually, with most of my ombres, actually all my ombres, I apply the first color and then I let that dry and I go back. I don't know why I do that. I used to just do one color, do the nude or whatever color I'm blending, in cap, and be done. I've noticed that I love the way my ombre turns out when I apply the first color, let it dry, and then go back. I don't know what that does, if that's even a valid method, if that does anything at all. I like it. I stick with it. So I'm back to the pointer finger, and here I'm just getting that same blue acrylic, and I'm filling in the tip. So maybe it's just me, but with the tip, I literally am so careful with the acrylic. I know some, actually, a lot of nail techs, which is fine, it works for them. I wish I could do that method. I probably could. I never actually tried because it looks so bad, and then you clean it up and it looks so bomb. I don't know what I would do if I went to clean it up and it didn't look as good as other people's does. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I just take the acrylic and I carefully apply it around that nude part. Um, it's so much easier to clean up, in my opinion. If I do get any acrylic on that nude, I can just take my brush and simply, wipe it and get that clean um, French tip look. This little method right here that you guys see me doing is what I meant when I said I could just clean off the colored acrylic if it got on there, rather than try to like play with e-file at the end. And you don't have to make this acrylic too thick either. I always do it to match up with the like the same thickness as the new tip. And I always do go back over and I encapsulate this, not with a lot of acrylic, just enough to where when I do use the e-file at the end, it won't, start to take any of that color off or mess up the French tip. So yeah, you guys, I believe the only thing I have to finish on this hand is the ombre on the thumb and do a little encapsulating on that. You guys already seen that process on the middle finger, so I'm not gonna do anything more as far as explaining that. I'll just let you watch, of course, and then I'll pick back up when we get to the designing part. Okay, so finally finished with that. I'm just going back in to clean up the shape. Same method. File the sides, file the bottom of the sides, and do the free edge. And filing the bottom of the sides is really important, you guys, like I said, especially with square. Really with any shape actually, but I feel like it's more noticeable with square because it's so tapered and nice. It'll be so noticeable, like if you do have any ridges on the side or anything. It just bugs me. It literally makes me cringe when I see those. So I always try to make that bottom of the nail real nice and straight. Um, yeah, same method, you guys. Nothing new. Get that crisp shape. And also, you guys, this is a major tip that took me a long time to learn. Sadly, sorry to all the ladies out there who I used to hurt. um, Definitely pull back the sides of the finger. I know that actually sounds like common sense, but it's so easy to just be in the zone of filing and that you forget. But especially when you're using a file this sharp, it literally takes one swipe for you to literally cut a client's skin or dig into their nail, which hurts so bad, you guys. I have experienced it myself. Just checking out that shape. Ooh, period. Yes, hunty. Okay. Yes. So yeah, you guys, just definitely like be careful using that file. I always start by pushing back the skin with the file, not digging in, just literally using the file, laying it on the finger and pushing the skin back, and then I hold it with my finger and file the sides. That way, I'm telling you, those cuts are crucial. It's just so, ugh, yeah, it sucks. So anyways, this is the e-filing part. As you can see, it didn't take me long at all to file that hand. Yes, I did speed the video up, but I promise you guys I timed it and it took me 5 minutes to file both hands. And same with the e-file, it took me 5 minutes to e-file both hands, if that. So I always do underneath the free edge, which you see me, this part right here. So yeah, I always start off each finger with that, just in case any acrylic sunk under there when I was straightening up the free edge during the acrylic application. So I just do that just to have a nice neat curve underneath. And so yeah, ladies, same process here. You just go from right to left, left to right, depending on which hand you use, and you just really seal that cuticle area. Makes it look real flush, real nice. Definitely helps prevent lifting. That is like the biggest thing with a lot of the steps when doing nails, is to prevent lifting and to definitely like have a really good retention rate, having them nails last long. So the rest of the e-filing part is really just smoothing out the nail if you have any lumps or bumps. Ooh, period again. But like I said, if you take your time applying the acrylic, you 9 times out of 10 won't have any lumps or bumps anyways, and you can just simply run through the filing and e-filing. So this is just buffing, probably one of the simplest steps in the whole process of nails. Just get a little cheap buffer. I get mine off Amazon, and I just rub it across the top to get rid of all those marks from the e-file, and then the bottom to get rid of any particles or loose pieces that might have been under there from when I filed. So here I'm just going around the cuticle with some rhinestone glue. I used that brush that you guys just seen to clean up the skin and around the cuticle if anything does happen to get on there, just keep it nice and clean. So I'm just doing a cute little freestyle jewel application here thing. I know my terminology is just so whack, but bear with me, you guys. So I'm just taking a larger jewel, place it in the center, and I'm taking a few small ones and doing it like around the rest. I feel like it gives it a really nice, neat, classic look. I don't know. It's usually always my go-to. My ladies love it. I love it. So So after applying the rhinestone glue and getting the rhinestones where you want, I usually say go ahead, pop it right in the dryer for at least, a few seconds to let that dry. I have noticed that if you wait too long, the rhinestones can sometimes move around, and it's such a hassle to try to go back and fix them. So it literally, put it on the dryer for like 3-4 seconds, and it'll hold them enough to where they won't move, and you can just, finish drying them as you keep putting the hand in the dryer. So, and as you can see, I just kind of got a whole bunch of rhinestone glue and spread it out throughout the nail, because I am going to be applying a lot of jewels on this finger. These are some really, really cute flower jewels that I found. I love them so much, and they really added to this look, you guys. I was so excited to use these. Super easy to apply though. Like, you apply them the same exact way as you would apply regular rhinestones or jewels. And so I just kind of freestyled this. I just, put some flowers here and there, and it also came with those little silver balls and some pearls. Just kind of placed them, you know, all over. And another thing I did, as you can see, the flowers don't have anything inside of them. So what I decided to do was take some of those little bitty small silver pearl ball things and dip them in a little glue and then place them inside the flower. That way they would stay. And as you can see, it looks way better. But on this finger, I just got some gel polish and I did some freehand nail art. While it's still wet, this is important, while it's still wet, that's when you pour the glitter over top, and you can tap the finger to get any extra off, put it under the dryer, let it dry for 60 seconds, and then come back and dust the excess glitter off, and you will get a beautiful finished look. But yeah, do not try to dry the gel before putting the glitter on, because then it won't stick. So yeah, ladies, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. This is the finished look of my freestyle set. So, love this set, ladies. Hope you do too. And like I said, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see. If there's any sets you want to see, anything like that. Until next time, see you, ladies.